Those of you that have a tough time getting quality bites in the summertime, in the fall, one of the great options that you have is the punching technique. Now, I'm gonna go ahead and rig up a few rigs. When I punch, you know, we're getting in heavy vegetation. We got pennywort, we got primrose, American pondweed, elodea, Eurasian milfoil. You got a lot of different types of vegetation. Well, a lot of those largemouth bass are underneath that stuff. They're just floating docks. And the best way to get down in there is with a variety of tungsten in different sizes. I always go with the lightest weight that I can to get through the roof that I'm punching. So if I'm gonna punch, and this is what I'm gonna do today, I'll have a rig with a 3/4, a 1 ounce, and an 1.5 ounces. I usually have 3 rigs. Now in the springtime when I'm punching, I will also incorporate a heavy jig on that, a 1 ounce jig, 1 ounce, 1 1/8, 1.5 ounces jig. But being that we're in the summertime and our vegetation's at about its optimum stage, the jig is really hard to get through this stuff. So we're gonna go with a standard punch rig, and I'm gonna show you how to rig it. The 2 best hooks that you're gonna find for punching are the straight shank type, and then you have the other type that have got a more distinct bend to them. When you're punching, you wanna get some 3/0, some 4/0, some 5/0, and maybe even 6/0 on occasion when you're using your larger plastics. If you're using a plastic that's 5, 6, 7 inches long, you want to go with a 5 or 6/0 hook. If you're using anything that's 3, 4, up to 5 inches long, then you want to go with your 3 and your 4/0 hook. You will find that a lot of times that 4 or 5/0 hook in a smaller piece of plastic, you tend to lose a few fish. So you'll downsize that hook into a 3/0. A lot of times in heavy vegetation, I will use a smaller piece of plastic with that 3/0 hook. And when I get bit and that rod loads, I usually end up getting my hands on that fish. Too much hook in heavy vegetation can be a negative at times. So that's gonna be a reed that you're gonna have to take care of during the course of the day. Let me show you how to put your punch rig together so you're ready to go. And again, if you're gonna go out and you're gonna punch all day long, you're gonna wanna have 2, 3, 4 different punch rigs to cover every situation that you're gonna be dealing with. This is just a quick little synopsis on how to get this done. We're gonna take our bobber stops, we're gonna start with those first. We're gonna stick the line through that little wire, just like that. And we're gonna pull that bobber stop right up on the line. I've already got a few of them on here. I'm gonna put that guy, I always put 3 on there. That will hold that sinker in place. And that's the whole reason we want those bobber stops on there, okay? The second thing that I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take I've already got a couple of other rigs. I don't have one with an 1.5 ounces yet, so I'm gonna go ahead and put that together. I'm gonna run that with your braided line. 65 to 100 pound braid is what you wanna do. 100, everybody hears that number 100. It doesn't break as much as 65 does. That's the reason I go with 100, and it's a reaction bite. There's a lot of vines, there's low light levels, they're not gonna see the line down there. And for the most part, a lot of the bites that you get are gonna be as soon as that tungsten goes through there, it's a reaction bite, right? You've got your canopy right here, you got your largemouth sitting right here, that tungsten bunk, 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 and it starts to go through, and that largemouth will eat that as soon as that bait penetrates through. So it's a reaction bite. 100 pound braid, I would use 150 pound braid, but I can't get my bobber stops to go through it. I've got my bobber stops on my line. I've got my tungsten on. And now, on this particular rig, I'm gonna use a straight shank hook. I'm gonna run my line right down through the top of the hook. I'm not gonna come underneath. I'm gonna go right through the top. I'll go right through the top like that. I'm gonna pinch that line on the shaft. I'm gonna rotate. I've got the line pinched on the shaft. I've got this loose tag end, and I'm gonna wind towards the eye of the hook. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wraps. I'm gonna take that tag end, and I've got this loop that I've been holding on to, and I'm gonna run that tag end right through that loop. And then I'm gonna pull the main line so that everything coils in on top of itself. And I've got a nice, quick snell knot that will get the job done for me. And then what we want to do is we want to put that tungsten right back up against that hook shank, run our bobber stops right down there like that. We're going to clip that tag end. Just leave about a 1/4 inch and you're in good shape. And the reason we tie a snell knot on a straight shank hook or the other hooks that I will use is because it makes that hook, when you swing, when you put contact on that hook, that hook will actually kick in an upward direction. And if you watch that hook, when you swing, it will actually kick in an upwards direction. So it will drive into the top of the fish's mouth, okay? And you'll be in good shape. Now the only thing that you have left is to choose a piece of plastic, a crawfish imitation, a bluegill imitation, whatever it is that you feel is the forage that the fish are targeting underneath those canopies, and that's what you want to go with. Some of the baits that you're going to choose have got little fringes and little twisty feet, like this guy right here. You will find that there will be times where something with a little bit of action will create or generate a few more strikes. And then there's other times where they just want something that's bulky, that just resembles a crawdad. So that's why you have 2, 3, 4 different punch rigs, okay? So we're just gonna rig this guy weedless. We got him out of the box. We've got our little hook there. We're gonna stick that piece of plastic right on that hook point. We're gonna come down about 1/8 to 1/4 of an inch. We're gonna run it right up the shaft, just like that. And then what I like to do is I like to take that plastic and just kind of pinch it forward, run that hook point right up in there like that, and I am good to go. I can go fish in the heaviest vegetation that this place has got, and I can fish it effectively with a minimal amount of snags. And if Big Mo grabs onto that thing, I'm gonna give her the bad news. All the products and different tackle that we just discussed is all available at monstertackle.com. Feel free to go and browse around. You'll find everything that we just discussed at monstertackle.com. And stay tuned, because we've got a few more segments that we got coming out, instructional tips to show you folks how to extract those big ones from your favorite pond.